Because Ripple Labs and the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) are still in court, investors and market experts have been paying close attention to the case. Many years have passed since the beginning of this war. Recently, some very interesting things have happened in this war, and they've happened in a short amount of time. The argument in question has been going on for a long time now. This is something you should remember. This is especially true since these events could affect not only the price of XRP, but also the coin market as a whole. Remember this. Being aware of this is something that you should remember. Even though the market hasn't been very volatile lately, it's clear that investors aren't too worried about how the talk will turn out. Even though the rate of fluctuation has been pretty low, this is still the case. Even though the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has been working on a $2 billion fine for Ripple, after seeing what happened, this is what happened. XRP has made a request to the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) about programmatic sales. Investors have been holding their breath, waiting for any new information that might come up soon. Since this appeal is what the market is mostly thinking about right now, investors have been holding their breath to see how things turn out. In July 2023, Judge Analisa Torres said that the programmatic sales of XRP did not meet the standards of the Howey test. This decision was made in the year 2023. Most people agree that this decision is one of the most important events in the ongoing legal drama. The reason for this is that the ruling was fair. By the end of October, Judge Torres had already made a ruling that went against the SEC's request for an interlocutory appeal. The SEC was the first to make the request. It took even longer for the legal process to start because of this order. The Securities and Exchange Commission also couldn't start an appeal until the Ripple case was officially over. This decision made it possible for the court process to take even longer. Because of this decision, the hearings were pushed back even further than they were before. The price of XRP has changed, which has been a clear sign of this kind of reaction. This reaction has been clearly shown by the change in the price. This change clearly shows how the market felt about the results and the chance that the Securities and Exchange Commission would file an appeal. Because of how the XRP price has changed, it is now very clear that this response has been properly portrayed. Following the choice that was made about automated sales, because of the choice, there have been a number of separate price changes. These changes were made because of the events that happened afterward. Ripple has been selling XRP to institutional buyers, which is why the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) says the company has broken securities laws. It is known to the world about these accusations. It is suggested that these claims be looked at, which was suggested by the person. However, investors have shown that they are strong, and the price of XRP has stayed mostly the same, even though fees have been added to the coin. At this point, there is no set date for when the Ripple lawsuit will end. Because of the lack of clarity surrounding the date, the case could go on until 2025. At this point, there is no information known about when the legal dispute will be over. At the moment, things are like this because the date for the end of the lawsuit has not been set yet. Changing who runs the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) could change how cryptocurrencies are regulated, which is another factor that could come into play. There are several things that could affect this situation. This is because the SEC is still a fairly new organization. As a regulatory body, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) looks out for clients' best interests in the financial markets. There is also a chance that information about the steps the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) took in the area of cryptocurrency could be made public as a result of ongoing investigations into what seem to be conflicts of interest within the SEC, especially those involving former SEC Director William Hinman. But this is not a given at all. Taking everything into account, there is a chance that this will happen. Ripple announced on April 1st that it plans to add 1 billion XRP tokens to its supply as part of its ongoing efforts to reach its goal of giving out tokens every month. This statement is part of Ripple's ongoing work to reach its goal. For the company to consistently release tokens, this is a part of the long-term plan that they must stick to. In the middle of this time of evolution, Ripple is going forward with putting its plan into action. Most likely, the price of XRP on the market will change in the coming weeks because of this planned release. This is part of Ripple's ongoing control of the token supply. It's planned that this release will happen in a few weeks. There's a chance this will happen. It has been agreed that this kind of release will happen as planned. This is what has happened because the release is set to happen at some point in the future. There have been times in history when giving out tokens caused their prices to drop. These things have happened in a number of different settings. When you think about this, it shows how important it is to keep a close eye on what's happening in the market and how buyers are feeling. When it comes to choosing investments, investors should continue to be careful and keep an eye on things during the court drama going on between Ripple and the SEC. At this very moment, both of these things are involved in this scene that is happening between them. Fears that are inherent to the Bitcoin sector include the fact that the laws aren't clear and the market is always changing. There is some truth to these fears, which is important to remember. On the other hand, these threats do not come without the chance of hurting people. The business sector will always have to deal with these risks. There is no way to ignore the fact that this is the case since it is the way things are right now. In order to make sure that these problems are handled properly, it is imperative to carry out thorough study and implement risk management. Getting these two tasks done is one of the most important things on the list of things that need to be done. Not only that, but both of these parts have to be present at the same time during the process for it to work. Also, investors must keep researching nonstop and change their strategy whenever new information about the Ripple problem and the legislative environment surfaces. This is the most important thing. We can't say enough about how important this is. To be more specific, this is because both the spread problem and the rules that govern it are always changing. Here's the reason why this condition is real. This is because information is always being changed, which is why this is the case. So this is the reason why this case is happening.